Okay, go.
All right. Welcome to the Fat2Fit Headquarters podcast. I'm Big John, and I'm joining host Carol Salva. Here we plan to chronicle our journeys from fat to fit. We are helping each other, our listeners, and our community to pursue a healthier lifestyle, not only in diet, but in all areas of life. And we've got radar contact with you 30 miles east of the airfield. We're going to be conducting a non-precision radar approach tonight to runway 36 Wellness at the Fat2Fit Headquarters Airfield.
Okay.
If no transmissions are received for 1 minute in the pattern or for 15 seconds on final approach, climb and maintain 1,800 calories, proceed to the Fat2Fit Headquarters beacon, and wait further instructions.
John,
Okay?
you really did ad-lib it just a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of an ad-lib there. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's it.
You were an air traffic controller, weren't you?
Yeah, for 17 years.
Okay. That's where that comes from, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You're a vet, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Big time. Tell us about that real quick before we get into it, because we've talked about you before. You're Hammer Jammer. Yeah. Anybody in our community has got, I mean, they don't hang out for very long without coming across you, John. So I wanted to have you on because we're so grateful for your involvement. But I do want you to tell us a little bit about your history and your background first before we get into all the fitness stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm just a poor country boy from Chicago, making his way in the big, widest world. But I joined the Army right out of high school. And,
thank you for your service.
Oh, and Carol, I tell you, I've told several people this week. You know, when it comes to some of the folks I meet, all right, I can tell you, even the hard days, even the hardest of the hard days, for folks like you and folks in our community, you guys were worth it.
Oh, okay? Thank you, John. I love it when you say that. I've heard you say that before. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. But anyways, I knew from about the age of 6 that I was a soldier. It's not, being a soldier is not about what you do, it's about what you are. And you do a lot of things when you are one. Okay, I did several, and most of it was in Army air traffic control. Okay. Both in the fixed base big airfields and in the forward arena, and that's really where I spent most of my time in air traffic control, was doing the forward operations stuff. So I retired. Well, let me just jump back a little bit.
Okay.
I met my wife Zena while I was on a deployment to England. Okay.
Okay.
And we had 3 dances at the end of the night at a club, and I did something I generally didn't do at that time, and I was 26, 27.
Oh, really?
I asked her for her phone number, and she did something she had never done, and she was 5 years younger than me. She actually gave it to me. So,
that's sweet.
And yeah, but I'd tell you, by the end of the second dance, I knew if she was going to have anything to do with me, that she was the one. So we had good 23 years, 10 months, and 9 days together, being married, and we lost her to a genetic sort of blood cancer called polycythemia vera.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
There's no treatment. There's no cure. They can do phlebotomy about every 6 weeks and make you feel a little bit better, but it's just, it is what it is.
I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, but she's been gone 9 years.
Okay.
And she's prepping our next phase together.
Nice.
So,
I bet she is.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on you.
Oh, yeah. And we had two boys. My oldest son, Dan, who is a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech. He's a hell of an engineer.
Nice.
And my youngest son, John, we lost 5 years ago. It'll be this Saturday in a car accident.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry again. Oh my gosh,
So
John.
that's well, and he and Zena up there hanging out together.
Yeah.
With my dad. So they're you know, they're up there with my buds too. So
yeah, and you're one of the most
up there. I got a crowd.
Yeah,
Huh?
and I said for all that you've been through, you're one of the most positive people that I know.
Well,
Talk to us about that, about where you get this amazing attitude and inspiration that you give everyone.
I'm glad. I'm kind of glad you asked, because I think there's a missing element in all of the things we're hearing in all of these other podcasts. I mean, and you can name off all the names: Rob, Wolf, Kiefer. What was it?
Your guy, the blueprint guy, Mark Sisson.
Yeah, Mark Sisson. And was it? I keep wanting to say Roger Rabbit, but
Roger Dickerman and
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and Colin Champ.
Yeah,
our favorite.
But wellness comes from 3 elements. It's a 3-legged stool. Okay, and it's body, mind, and spirit. Okay. And nobody addresses the spirituality. Now, it's not. There's a big difference between spirituality and religion. Okay. And where my attitude comes from is from my spirituality. Okay?
Oh.
That's I have seen amazing things, not just from humans, but animals. I learn amazing things about plants and about how things all fit together. Okay. University of YouTube is just a fantastic tool. Okay, that I really wish I'd have had back in my 20s, as opposed to just over the last couple of years. But, and I'm not, when it comes to spirituality, I'm not the guy to teach it. Okay, it's the kind of thing that people have to see and find and know for themselves, and incorporate that into the things they do and the way they live, and the attitude will follow. I really believe that.
Have you always felt that way? Because you told me you used the pictures that you posted on Myfitnesspal. You were quite a bit heavier. How much weight did you lose when you?
Well, understand, when I got to the point where my old analog scale pegged out at 300 pounds. Okay.
Really?
And I was way past that peg. But I weighed myself on the 1st of January, 2011. I weighed myself in my fitness center. And there's a conundrum, running a fitness center and weighing 357
Oh, you were running
pounds.
the fitness center.
Yeah, oh yeah. That was, and I weighed 357 pounds.
357.
357.
Wow, okay. Okay.
And, a self-analysis of this is, after I retired, I carried the mail for 9 years in Savannah.
Oh, yeah?
I actually stayed pretty fit doing that. I had a route for 5 years that was an 11-mile walk every day.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And, but when, I'm a veteran of the Gulf War, okay, and I wrote letters home and to people that sent us any soldier mail, even before the ground war started, that if we didn't finish it then, we were going to have to come back. Okay, and I thought within 10 years, and it took a couple years longer, I think. But, when the invasion happened, okay, I kind of went into my tactical mode. So I was carrying the mail and watching CNN and not sleeping. Okay, and carrying the mail and watching CNN and not sleeping.
Wow.
And, it was right after Pat Tillman, the football player, was killed. And he's a ranger. I've worked with the rangers a lot. I wasn't one, but I did a lot of work with them. And I sat down and told Zena, I said, you know, that kid was a ranger waiting to happen. Okay, sometimes you have to build them. Okay, but there are just some guys that are what they are. And she looked at me and she said, you know, Tom, you got to go. I said, what do you mean you got to go? She said, you got to go. You got to go find you something to do over there because it's killing you to stay home. So I did. And I went to a KBR hiring fair about 3 weeks later.
What is a KBR?
KBR, Kellogg Brown and Root. That's they're a subsidiary, and you should know that. You live in Houston.
Yeah.
They're a subsidiary of Halliburton.
Yeah.
And they're the big contractor for the military support logistics contracts.
Right.
Okay. And at the time, you know, they were looking. What KBR was looking for was people that were breathing, that did not have active warrants, okay, that they could send to Iraq to do something. Okay. So I took my resume up there, and they offered me like 5 different jobs.
Nice.
You know, security, logistics, some other stuff. And kind of as an aside, and they said, oh, yeah, you can do MWR. MWR is Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. Okay. That took me back when I said, you're going to have MWR over in the combat zone? I mean, I've been in 2 combat zones. And you're kind of on your own for recreation.
Yeah.
You know, and they said, no, we're taking that right out as far forward, you know, in the combat zone as we can go, out to the forward operating bases. And I said, that's the one. Okay. I don't need to even think about that. I can go out there and look after troops and give them some time where they're not focused on the hard jobs and stuff that they have to do. I give them some relaxation. Send me.
Oh, how nice.
That's and we did. We set up fitness centers, internet cafes. At the second job I was at, I actually helped refurbish a theater, 220-seat theater where we'd hold karaoke shows.
I bet you were so popular. I bet they loved that.
Oh, well, it's both ways. I mean, you know, being an old soldier, you had a lot of young ones that would come and chat with you and talk to you and look for advice, and it helps. It does help to think like the people around you. You know, that's the non-veterans in the MWR over there. Some did just spectacular bang-up jobs, thinking outside the box, thinking of things that I would have never have thought of. Okay. But on the same token, and this shows at my job now up at the VA in recreation therapy, there's a bond, you know, that transcends family. I get paid to do my hobbies with 300 of my best friends. Okay. And that's a blessing.
That's so wonderful, John.
You know, but when I got back, while I was over in Iraq, that's when Zena passed away.
Oh.
And then Johnny a couple years later. And when I got back in 2009, March of 2009, I was tired, very tired. And for the first 3 months I was back, I did 2 things. I slept and I ate.
Really?
That's all I did. That's all I did. And then after that, for the next 7 or 8 months, I didn't. Most of what I sent you the link for my Hammer Jammer account on Hub Pages. Most of that writing happened in that next 6-7 months. Okay, because it was just a lot of it was stuff I just needed to get out.
Yeah.
But I didn't do much else. And I was starting to gain weight, and then I sat down at the computer a year after I got back. 2 weeks short of 1 year after I came back, and said, "Well, okay, I'll look for a job." And I did a job search for recreation, and the very first job popped up, top of the screen, was recreation therapy at the Dublin VA hospital.
Oh my gosh, perfect for you.
And I said, this is a sign, because I didn't even know that there was anything called recreation therapy. Okay, I had no clue. Okay, what does recreation therapy do? Okay,
Yeah.
and what I found out is it's exactly the same stuff I did over in Iraq. Okay,
That's
but
so
with guys in
great.
the VA hospital. So that's
Fantastic.
yeah. So I'm blessed. I mean, I'm just blessed. But I thought having the job, I think I'd gotten up to about 290 then, and having the job, I thought, well, yeah, just having a job will get me back down there. Didn't work.
What's your ideal body weight around? I mean, like.
I feel best in the mid to high 220s.
Oh my goodness! So you were way beyond that. You were
Oh,
almost
yeah.
300.
And I mean, and plus I had a lot of, I'm certain, looking back on it, I had a lot of muscle degradation. I also, looking back on it, didn't recognize it at the time, but I was probably pretty severely depressed for most of that year.
Well, I bet. You had a lot going on.
Yeah. But I decided, what, Zena and I did some things right, okay? And we never, ever, ever parted company without telling each other we loved each other.
Aww, that's the sweetest thing.
Not to go run down to the store, not to, it did not matter. If we were leaving, if I was leaving the house, it got said. If she was, going to work, I mean, this is every day, every time. So
you're glad you did that.
Oh yeah, because that was the last thing. I saw her the day before she passed away on Instant Messenger. Okay, and she was getting ready to go do what she loved, work in our garden, and we never left. We did not leave things unsaid between us. Okay,
that's a good lesson for us all.
Yeah, and that's marital health. Okay, never go to bed leaving things unsaid. Okay, that's and never leave without, never part company without telling people you love, how you feel. And Dan and I do it as well. That's that's just our habit.
That's good.
Okay?
That's your son?
Yeah.
That's really
whether it's on the phone or after our workouts and he's getting ready to head out, that's always the last thing. It's always the last thing.
That's part of that spiritual thing. But this is when you got back. It was 2009. You said.
Yeah, and I got hired by the VA in 2010.
Right.
June 6th.
And you thought that was going to bring you back around into shape. You were then about 70 pounds or more overweight.
And it didn't. It didn't. There was a Wendy's and a McDonald's right on the way to work that I had to drive right by. Okay. And I mean, I can eat. I can eat. Volume is important when it comes to my food. So I'd buy two. What are they? The triple baconators.
Yeah.
And to keep them healthy, tell them lettuce only, right? Okay. Don't want all those condoms, just some lettuce.
Oh my gosh.
That way they were healthy, But it kept building, kept going up, and I picked up the other 60 pounds or so in 6 months. I mean, I was picking up 10 pounds a month.
Really? That's fast. But it does come on fast.
It can, yeah. So by then, when I was at my heaviest, I was having problems getting up and down out of chairs and couches. Personal hygiene was problematic, okay, to say the least. And that's but it boiled down to, and I'm a plotter. I started realizing about October, you really got to do something about this. And it just
October of 2011, right?
Of 2010.
2010. So right after you got the job, later that year.
Yeah. Yeah, about 4 months later,
Okay.
and I've just been ballooning up,
Okay.
and I started realizing, you know, I really needed to do something. And I've trained soldiers, you know, trained soldiers in fitness, well, military fitness, okay? And there's a big difference between military fitness and health fitness, but we'll come back to that later. But anyway,
Okay.
I have skills, okay? And
Okay.
I'm sitting there looking at myself going, you know what to do, okay? You know how to do this. You did this with soldiers. You had soldiers on weight control programs. You helped soldiers rehab from injuries. You know how to do this, okay? And I finally said, okay, set the target date, you know, worked on a plan, started, you know, like I said, went and weighed myself on the 1st of January 2011, 357 pounds, okay? And I said, all right, it's pretty, I really didn't know it was that high for probably the 2 months prior to that.
Wow.
You know, so I said, okay, you know, we got to make this happen. And first change, and I don't do change rapidly, okay? I do changes to sustain.
Okay.
You know, when I designed my diet, I said I have to do this in a way that I can sustain it. That's the key to being successful at it and to getting to the healthy spot. So
Okay.
I made the one change on January 1st, and I stopped drinking anything but water and coffee. That's it.
What
For
were
the
you
first
drinking
30
before?
days, Diet Coke. And understand, I never drank Diet Coke because it was diet. I drank Diet Coke because I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, to drink 6, 8, 10, 12 of them a day, okay, was not an unusual day.
Wow.
Okay.
I used to do that.
So,
Go ahead.
yeah. So I just, water and coffee. Lost 20 pounds in the first 30 days.
Wow, just from switching
That
away.
one change, okay? And then during that 30 days, I started making lists. I said, okay, so we're going to sustain it. What I got to do, and I hadn't found Myfitnesspal yet, okay? So I was looking up nutrition labels individually on foods, you know, just doing searches, Google searches for the foods.
Oh.
And but I sit there and made lists of all the foods I liked, and then I started looking up the nutrition labels. And
Wow.
I sit there looking at veggies. I have always liked veggies.
Good.
Okay? But and you look them up and you see peas have 4 times the calories that broccoli does. Okay?
Really?
I like peas. I like broccoli. I'm going to eat the broccoli. Okay? Right?
Yeah.
You know? And that's how I made my choices. Okay? Yeah. So I came up with about 7 or 8 vegetables that I like. Okay? Then I started looking at the meats. Okay? The meats I could go down and buy at Kroger. Okay?
Okay.
And chicken, you know, different chicken, turkey, variations on turkey. There are amazing variations on turkey.
Really? Like ground turkey?
Frozen turkey meatballs that are Italian, frozen turkey meatballs that are Hungarian, frozen turkey meatballs that are. So I started buying a lot of turkey stuff. Okay? And you get turkey kielbasa and turkey this, you know.
Were you trying to stay low fat too? I know you're paying attention to calories.
I was paying attention to calories. I was not real concerned with any individual macro, other than I knew carbohydrates. That's where glucose comes from. I had that in Master Fitness course. Okay.
Okay.
So I knew that, you know, and so stay below the macros. Just keep those low. Like I said, this was before Myfitnesspal. I'm going to keep the carbohydrates and the calories low.
Okay.
I didn't care about the protein and the fat macros. Just I didn't bother with it. Okay?
Right.
But I knew
as long as your carbs were low and your calories were low.
Yeah. and that I was hydrated. Okay. Now I wasn't in good enough physical shape to be in any serious exercise at that point in time. Okay. So, but for movement, I said, you've got to move, you got to do something. So during commercials, when I'm sitting at home, I'd stand up, walk in place.
Really?
Yeah. I can. It is difficult. I find it difficult today to actually sit down and watch TV.
Wow, but you were doing it back then a lot, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and but I managed to lose about 70 pounds in the first 9 months.
Good night.
Okay? And that's when then I found Myfitnesspal.
So that first 70 pounds that dropped off in the first 9 months. Yeah. You had switched over to water and coffee.
Yeah.
But
water and coffee.
You cut out all the other drinks.
Yeah.
You looked at foods that were lower carbohydrate, but the most bang for your buck on calories. You didn't want a ton of calories. You were making decisions based on that. Lower calorie and lower carbohydrate.
Type food. Yeah.
And you started moving more.
Yeah. But
lifting at all?
Oh, no, I only just started getting back to weightlifting this last June.
Oh, wow, okay. So you made a lot of progress primarily through diet.
Yeah, primarily through my diet, and I actually delayed progress because I was still using a military fitness model instead of a health fitness model.
What's the difference there?
Well, here's the thing. Military fitness is about being fit enough to accomplish a given mission, okay? And your long-term health has nothing to do with that. So, we're going to make you stronger. We're going to make you faster. We're going to go out and run 5, 10, 12 miles with 65, 70-pound loads, okay?
Yeah.
All right. But we're gonna do. I chuckle at CrossFit. Okay, because I don't bash them. All right, they've got some great stuff in there if it's well applied. All right, but these WODs where people are falling off of battle ropes and stuff like that. We were doing that. Okay?
I know.
Back in the 60s and 70s, I got exercise routines that if I went in front of my formation to do PT on a Monday morning, the guys that had been out drinking Sunday would just automatically fall to the back and start puking, because if they didn't do it back there, they were going to do it on themselves before that session was over.
You had your own. You had your own.
So.
CrossFit going on, but the real thing.
Yeah, and and what that does is, and with the military's diet and that kind of lifestyle, it metabolically it breaks people. Okay, I got told by a surgeon, by an Army surgeon at age 35, that I had no left meniscus. There was none left. Okay,
that's your knee thing, right?
Yeah. That's the cartilage.
Oh.
That's the cartilage. Your femur and your fibula. Okay. That's the cushion that your knee rides on. Okay.
Yes, yes.
I have no cushion. I have bones beating against each other when I do that.
Oh my God.
Okay. And that was at age 35. Not to mention the back that goes in all sorts of strange directions, and shoulders and necks. All this, at 35. Okay, and it never gets better. You just learn how to live with chronic pain. Okay, but so, and a lot of that's on diet. Military diet is very high, typically high carbohydrate, moderate protein, low fat. I mean, that's you get when you're deployed, you'll get issued 2 or 3 meals ready to eat. Each one's got 3,000 calories in it. Okay, most of it crapola.
Really?
Okay? chili
What
with
was that?
beans. The menus, you get like tuna and noodles, chili with beans. These are the
Okay.
menus of the
Okay.
MREs. The breakfast ones were always pretty good because you get the little ham and cheese omelet in there. But people would fight over those. So if you were late for breakfast, you were getting chili or tuna and noodles. Nobody wanted tuna and noodles. Because you got to remember, typically you were going to eat it cold anyway. So they're not very good cold.
Okay.
So, but that's what happens. I mean, the abuse that you can do to yourself, and you've got about a 20-year window where you can do just about anything to your body.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, and that again is part of wellness. Those are the years where you challenge yourself. You find your peaks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do it without hurting yourself, but that's when you can challenge yourself. And then you got another 20 years where you kind of need to modify your goals for sustainment, okay, and health.
Okay.
And then the 20, 30, 40 years, whatever you end up pulling out of the rest of that is where I'm at right now. Is I want a good day. Okay. I want a good day.
Well,
Period.
yeah.
Today needs to be a good day. All right. And it just that's part of my mindset. I care not. I learned on the battlefield that there were worse things than dying. Okay, many worse things than dying. So I came to terms with that and have basically lived with the idea that if I died in the next 10 minutes, it'll be a welcome rest. Okay. Now that's not my call as to when to go. Just like in the Army, I never called and asked for orders; they sent them. Okay? So that's not my choice. All right, but I will not be unhappy with the idea that I get to be there. Now, in the interim, I've got stuff to do. I got to live, and there's no point in living miserable.
Yeah.
Make every day the absolutely best friggin' day you can. Okay? And that's what wellness. That's wellness. Okay?
I know.
And that's where the attitude comes from.
I know. And you're always posting the most inspiring things so early in the morning. Like I see your posts come across like 5:30 a.m. Hey everybody, happy Thursday, and just some great words of wisdom you shout out to everybody. Always making everybody laugh. You write the funniest things. I have what you wrote was so funny. When I had to go to that bakery for that meeting last Friday.
The donut battle, yeah.
Yes, there was a battle. I wrote in the community that I was nervous because I had to go meet my bosses, and the meeting was being held at a bakery. And so John told me, don't worry about it. This is your opportunity to act like a soldier and to get your mind right about this. I've got to find what you wrote me. It was so funny. It really was funny. So I'm going to find it so that I can read it. But anyway, you're just always so inspiring to everybody. And I know everybody appreciates that. It's very, very helpful to the whole community.
But I'm first. The thing to remember is I am somewhat selfish because first that's my thoughts to me. Okay, this is how we got to handle it. And I just I don't know. Like I said, I'm a soldier. I'm an old one now. Okay, but it's a mindset. It's the way you think. And life's a battle.
Yeah. Yeah. But you also said it, life, I quoted you one time saying
life is a team sport. Yeah.
It is a team sport. It doesn't have to be, But it's nice when it is, when people, I mean,
Yeah.
for those of us that appreciate company,
Yeah.
it's very, very nice. And so,
And the company's the blessing.
yeah.
Yeah. I was telling my boss that she was going out Christmas shopping the other day, and I said, well, I said, you know, coming from me, okay, you are blessed, okay, to have someone to shop for it. Okay. So that's
Yeah.
you know, that I got my son.
Yeah.
We take care of Christmas shopping and birthdays, but it's. Did you find it yet?
No, no, I'm still,
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to pay attention to what you're saying. I can't find it. But
Okay.
I
I
gotta
was trying to ramble so you could.
I know, but I can't find it. I gotta look back through my calendar. I can edit this show and cut out some of the dead time. But I'm trying to remember what day I went to that meeting, because that's the day it would be there. But it was just so funny. Everybody loved it. Oh,
Wasn't
here it
that
is.
Monday?
It was December 10th. So I
Yeah.
can find it now that I know it was December 10th. But there's so many people in that community, and pretty much everybody knows who you are because your name is so distinct, Hammer
Yeah.
Jammer.
Yeah.
Can you tell us real quick, while I pull this up, tell us real quick where Hammer Jammer comes
Okay.
from?
That was in Iraq when I was doing MWR. And I'll give you the longer story. Okay. I was at a FOB called FOB Falcon, and FOB means Forward Operating Base, and we were in South Baghdad. And on October 12th, 2006, might have been 2005. I'm pretty sure it was 2006. Our ammo dump got hit by a mortar attack, blew our camp up. I mean, we were dodging stuff everywhere. Nobody killed, very few injured, but by sunrise, all of our quarters, the quarters that we were living in as the contractors stuff, they were all smoking, just smoking piles of trash, and you had just what you owned was on your back. Well,
Okay.
our HR department flew out there a couple of days later and said, okay, we understand that, some of you may not want to stay here, okay, and if you want to be transferred, we'll transfer you, no questions asked, and probably 30% said, no, I don't want to transfer, I want to go home. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. All right. Probably there was another 60% that said, yeah, we want to transfer. And then there was me and 3 other guys that said, nah, you're not running me off. Okay. And I actually turned down a promotion. I had competed for a promotion to a supervisor at a camp out in Fallujah, actually. And I ended up turning that one down to stay and rebuild my camp there. So about 6 months later, they're building a new FOB out east, farther east of Baghdad, sort of halfway between the border with Iran and Baghdad, which was that highway through there was a big insurgency corridor coming from Iran. So I heard about it, and I called my boss, okay, and said, look, I want to go out there. I want to go build that one. I've been asking you to build camps for 2 years. I just rebuilt this one. Send me out there. I want that FOB. She said, okay. So off I went. And conditions were very austere. We were living in tents, not trailers.
Wow.
And actually, when I got there, we were still setting up the tents. The first night I slept there, I slept in 2 trash bags.
Oh my goodness.
The first week there, because of the water, the Roku plant hadn't been set up yet. We got 3 bottles, 3-liter bottles of water to have a shower with.
Oh my gosh.
And that
You
was,
have to be selective about what to wash.
there was no place, okay, you gotta understand, there was no place to go take that shower.
Oh
Okay.
gosh. Oh dear.
This was just, okay, we got a parking lot. We can make a puddle here. Okay.
Wow.
That was
Roughing it.
that was yeah, and we were losing a lot of the contractors that were getting sent out there, as opposed, I volunteered, but we had guys that were getting sent out there that just, they had been used to being at the big camps and the big fobs and having, you know, trailer to go home to at night, air conditioning and stuff like that. They get out there and they turn around and they say, I'm done.
Wow.
I'm not doing this. I'm done. So I had a mission, not just for the soldiers, okay, but for our own guys as well. So I hit that mission pretty hard, trying to keep people smiling.
Oh.
Right. And it had a positive effect. But I took all of what we did really seriously over there, because commander after commander, these are colonels and generals, would pull me aside and say, you know, in case you don't know it, here's why you're here, is I want every one of my soldiers, I want every one of my soldiers to have the opportunity for 30 minutes a day to be somewhere other than this godforsaken place.
Oh.
Okay? Where they can forget about that, they can be on the internet, they can, you know, and
yeah, just get their head out of all this misery.
Work it out, and then, you know, and that's a PTSD mitigation. Okay? And then in the fitness centers, you go in there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the guys that were having troubles would be in there working out. Okay? And I mean, this was not onesies, twosies. I had big crowds at Fob Hammer at the 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So, you know, that's a time where an old guy like me sit down and pull them aside, you know, or they'd ask you a question and you get to talking with them, and, you know, hope you can help them a little bit that way too. Right. You know, and you know, I think we did some really good work over there. You know,
I'm sure you did.
I think
you said it was
as bad as the PTSD.
As bad as the what?
As bad as the PTSD statistics are, I think they would have been much worse without what we were doing. Yeah, yeah. So the post-traumatic stress. Yeah. Fob Hammer was named by the unit that went there to build it, which was 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, and their brigade, they're the Sledgehammer Brigade. Okay. So they named it Fob Hammer. Okay. Well, about 6 weeks in, well, every week I had to go brief the community leaders, the colonel and senior leaders, on what events and stuff we were doing, you know, what we were doing in recreation and what was coming up. And in military briefings, okay, they always end with their unit slogan. Like if the colonel of that brigade was given a briefing, when he was done, he would say sledgehammers, you know, or the Eagles rise, or, you know, fix bayonets, you know, whatever their unit thing is. Okay? Yeah. And I knew this. I mean, 22 years in the Army, I'd given all kinds of these briefings. And I had to come up. I had to give this briefing. I was going to have mine. Okay? And not 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after I started giving these briefings, the command came down and said, you got to include hammer. And we all had radios. You see on my picture with the flak jacket, you see my radio sticking up. Yes. We all had radio, so you had to have a call sign. Okay? And the military came down and said, we want all the call signs to have hammer in it somehow, be some variation of hammer. Okay? Well, my slogan that I had come up with for this was, we be jammin', from Bob Marley, you know? Yeah. It's a long life, and we're jamming. Hope you like jamming too. So that would, when I finished my briefing, I'd go, and we be jamming, right? So when they came up and they said, you got to have hammer in there. Our ops guy looked at me when he saw that message. He said, hammer jammers. Okay. They changed it and dropped the requirement about 2 weeks later, right?
Right.
But no, that one's we were the hammer jammer. Okay.
You are the hammer jammer.
Yeah. So when I started doing stuff on the internet when I came back, that's what I said. I originally got on hub pages to write stuff about MWR and recreation.
Yes.
I said, you know, I'll just keep using ham jammer as my handle.
Oh, everybody loves that. Everybody loves it because people call you John or people call you Jammer.
The combination of the Army and Bob Marley.
That's fantastic. That's a great combination. Hey, I found something that you wrote in the MyFitnessPal community, and I want to explain this because when, we're having a December challenge right now, a check-in challenge. There's a lot of people sticking with it, don't we? It's so great. There's so many people, even people who missed a day or two. I love that they're not going to win the 31 days, but they're there.
Yep.
And they seem, and now it's really exciting because people like David and Kevin, like some newbies, there's people going, okay, I'm down now, I'm day 18 and I've lost some weight. And it's not like nobody's telling anybody how to lose weight. Some people are asking questions of each other, but it's mostly just check in with us. Just check in with us, whether you read the other people's posts or not. And so I really want to thank you because you're always making me smile when I can read through. So my post for December 10th was, I think I wrote I was going out on a walk with Caroline, and then when I came back, I had already posted for the day. I didn't have to post again, but I was getting ready for a meeting that they had decided was going to be at a bakery for breakfast. And so I just got on it real quick and posted, great, I have to go to a meeting with my bosses at Corner Bakery. And so, wish me luck. And then right after that, you posted again.
You asked for that advice. You said, wish me luck.
That
was a request for information.
I guess that was a request for luck. So you said, Carol, here is the chance to think like a soldier. You are entering a well-defended ambush site. Think of every offer of carbohydrates, grains, or sugar as a bullet fired at you. In order to get out of this trap alive, you have to focus on your training and use the no gun. Every no will hit its target with an accuracy and precision of a sniper in a target-rich environment. Would you like a bagel? Bagel bullet fired. No, thank you. Boom, bagel is dead. Add a smile and you've dropped the grenade in the bagel bunker. Need ammo, coffee, please? And may I have some heavy cream? No, need ammo, heavy coffee, please. Need ammo, coffee, please, and may I have some cream? The battle has just gone nuclear. Powdered sugar donut? Pew, pew, pew. Oh, no, thanks. No gun is now in auto, and you are mowing them down. You call in an airstrike. But I wouldn't mind having some water, please. Whew, you're win. You're on top of the hill, knee deep in hand grenade pins and empty brass. Victory. That was a fantastic post. So many people were like, oh, John, that was great. John, that was so great. Oh, Hammer, thank you. Because, and everybody just kind of laughed about it. But I went in to that bakery, and I felt like Rambo. It just made it funny, but also much easier. Much easier. Nobody was going, and there were bagels and pastries, and they bought some, and they were on the table for us. You didn't have to go up to the counter. And I was like, no, hell no. I've got all kinds of ammunition. It was making me think, because you were being funny about it. But really, I do. I have all these people supporting me. I have my own decisions. Every decision I make can make me stronger. I can knock all this stuff down and it wasn't even hard. And it's usually kind of hard because I'm focusing on what I'm not having. But I wanted to thank you because it made me laugh. And every time somebody was like, "You sure you don't want some, Carol?" I would just laugh. I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm really good right now." I know, Doc, I'm fine.
Yeah, I actually had another 2 or 3 paragraphs that I was going to add to that, but I was afraid with the description of oozing eclairs, okay, and all the carnage that it might set somebody up for post-traumatic stress.
Oh yeah, we don't need to. That's all right. But if anybody wants to read it, because I didn't do it justice, it's still in the threads. You know, the threads stay there, and it was December 10th that you posted that. So you would look for the challenge thread of that week, and that's how our challenge is going. It's each week. You look for that week's thread, and you just post something. You just post hi or something like that. But I am telling you, I knew it. It came to me in the middle of a podcast in November that we should do another one of these challenges because I think that's what I needed was to be checked in every day and not to forget about and ignore this and try to avoid this because I'm miserable. And man, it's made a huge difference for me. We're 18, 19 days into it now, and I just feel a million times better.
There you go. And that's the wellness side kicking in, see. For you and for most, probably all of us on that thread, that's company that we don't find anywhere else.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And that sort of company, is real important in how you face the day and how you feel.
Yeah.
Having the place to ventilate,
Yeah, you might not need that. Not everybody needs that, but a lot of people do. And so if you do, my gosh, we have such a great we have a great place for you to vent and all of that. It's great. There's another guy named John who's trying to he emailed me and I emailed him back today. His name's John Labrum. I hope he's okay with me saying his full name. And his handle is like Blind Sheepdog or John. I gotta figure out what his handle is on Myfitnesspal because he's joined and he's trying to join our group. And he said he heard us on Nick's show on Practically Tactical, and then he came and listened to our show, and he and his wife, just from listening to that. He and his wife, he says he's currently 61 years old. He's, at a point where he wants to make a big change, and so does his wife, and they've decided. I mean, I'm so impressed because he's like, I'm gonna start right after the beginning of the year. He heard our show, he heard us talking, and he's just gonna start right now. And he was trying to figure out how to get into the community. They already started tracking Blind Boy Johnny. Blind Boy Johnny is his name on Myfitnesspal. So we all got to friend him.
All right.
Because he and his wife are making, I mean, people don't understand how much support is there for you.
Yeah. It's one of the things I really got impressed with Myfitnesspal is how wide and far-reaching the community is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've got a friend in England, RAF Valentina. Okay. She's a RAF air traffic controller in her 20s, okay, and we joined like within a week of each other.
Oh yeah.
So her streak is still going. She's got like 1,120 some odd days or something. She just rolled over on her streak, and mine got cut when I had my kidney cancer surgery.
Aww.
So I missed a few days, and kidney cancer was my fault. So I'm not going to go try and beg them, to skip over days that I missed because I had to miss them.
Those streaks, they have a lot of things that might appeal to you, and one is, you get notifications of your streak, how many days in a row you've checked in or logged or whatever. There's some issues with it. I know a lot of us complain about how the phone app isn't as user-friendly for the chatting part of it. Yeah. But I mean, it's free, John. It's free.
Yeah.
You
That's
can't
it.
Explain that much.
And, when I was going back up to Illinois for my mom's birthday, one of the friends I have on there lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and I just put out a general message saying I'm traveling to Illinois this week. anybody along the route, I'll stop and have lunch with you.
Great.
So got to meet her.
How great!
That's yeah, that was cool.
Super cool.
Had
That's
lunch
super cool
in
to start
Louisville, Kentucky.
It is super fun to meet your virtual friends.
Yeah.
From these communities.
That's why I want to go to Paleo FX. I got my leave put in for that. So
that's in April, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in April.
Third weekend.
I totally want to go. I might go just for the weekend, just to meet you guys. If you go, if anybody else goes, because it's about 3 hours from me. But I sure would like to meet you guys. That would be a blast.
Oh, it'd be fun. I'd like to have us all, like, on Saturday morning, go do a workout together. Do one of my Hammer Jammer happy hours.
I was thinking dinner.
Huh? Well, that too.
Okay. No, I submitted a proposal for a panel. I don't know if I'll get. I don't know if it'll get approved. We should find out pretty soon. But it's a great conference. Some people were saying they might go, but they aren't going to pay for the conference. They might just be in town. But I would suggest people consider, just if they don't want to invest, because like $300 and something for the conference. If you don't want to invest that much money, look into how much it costs for one day just to do the exhibit floor. Because it's much less expensive. It's way less expensive. But there's so much going on the exhibit. Of course, there's all the vendors, but there's also a couple of stages. There's cooking demonstrations. It's like an expo down there. So that's, there's book signings, and you'll meet some of the authors, and definitely some of the talks. Roger Dickerman's talk was down there. And Kiefer had a talk down there at the last Paleo Effect. So they put on a really good conference, and it's extremely well attended, and tons of great speakers.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm happy to pay to go to the conference.
It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Listen to the panels.
And bring some workout clothes, because his name is usually there doing primal movement outside. What's his name? I'm trying to remember. Edwards. Daryl Edwards. He usually, and Mark Sisson usually has Daryl Edwards come to his conferences.
Okay.
But Daryl Edwards is that explorer guy, with natural movement and stuff. I don't know if you know of him, but he doesn't. What he advocates is primal play. So he shows you how to play outside, the way kids play, and how many muscles you can engage in, and you get partners, and you do all this stuff, that it's just a lot more natural than going into the gym. He talks to you about dumbbells. And talks about there's a reason they're called dumbbells. That you're supposed to be out doing stuff that's more in the way that we really move as humans, or are supposed to be. The way we're designed to move. So it's a lot of fun. You want to wear comfortable clothes at least one of the days, and go out and do a primal play with him, because that's just included in the conference.
The joy for me is I can wear my work clothes, and that, I mean,
I wear a golf
shirt and sweatpants. I wear a golf shirt and sweatpants. That's my work clothes.
Well, that's great. That's great, John. Well, I'm just so impressed. You've done so much for so many people from a young age. Everything you did as an officer, which we keep thanking you for all the service, and then you went back and served the guys who were serving their country more recently. And I can't have more respect for you. It's just great. And now we're just blessed to have you over in the Myfitnesspal community, because you're serving us the same way. Tell people about the 2D nail challenge. That is really about wellness. Okay.
Again, these little activities that you can do should not ever draw even one bead of sweat. Okay. Well, maybe the lunges did. Okay.
Those were tough.
Those were tough. That was difficult. Okay,
That's okay. Every once in a
but
while, we want to be challenged.
yeah, but it's about the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's about engaging. Okay, in an activity that has the simple implication of making you well. Okay,
Yeah.
making you well through movement. Okay, and it's just a little bit. It's
So,
just a
so just to give people a reference, or just a kind
yeah,
of an understanding, in our community, if you choose to come over to the chat boards and stuff,
yeah,
there's threads. It's a chat board with threads, and you can read about something, or you can start a new one. Like I think TJ Gaucher did the healthy recipes,
yeah,
and that thread always bumps up to the top because people keep posting to it.
yeah.
So when John, you turned 60, right, on November
Yeah.
24th?
November 24th, I turned
On November
60.
24th. And he had been telling us for a while he was going to put a 30-day challenge in there.
Yeah,
But they're tiny challenges, like something you can do on a commercial break, but a new one every day, and
yeah,
see who can do it. I know Chris has been in there a lot.
yeah,
Kristen, I
yeah,
haven't done every single one, but I've done a ton of them.
yeah.
I've done most of
Yeah,
them.
but you got to do the one that's coming up this weekend.
Oh my.
Okay, the one that's coming up, and you're only going to have one challenge for the weekend, for the whole weekend.
All right. All
Okay?
right. I'm up
And
for
that's
it.
all I can
It
say.
is.
If I told you any more right now, I'd have to kill you.
Don't tell me
Okay,
because I don't want to. I don't want to die today.
uh, but
But
it's
it's
going to be
really. I'm sure it's going to
all
be
of the challenges are designed to elevate your heart rate just a little bit,
just a little
just a
bit,
little bit,
and
just a
keep
little
it
bit.
elevated a little bit later. But it does
Well,
make you feel good, like you've done
mhm,
something, even if it
yeah,
was just like those desk push-ups where we only had to do six
yeah,
of them,
yeah.
or the walking on our toes to the mailbox and back.
Box, yeah, yeah.
The
That's
one
that's
like
that's one of the fun ones. Yeah,
it was funny. It was
yeah,
funny,
yeah.
and
Because
just
she had her
little.
dog attack her. The dog attacked her feet because she's walking around on her tiptoes.
And it's fun to post them to our wall,
Yeah,
because MyFitnessPal is kind of like a Facebook
yeah,
for wellness, and so we see each other's news feeds, and so I can
yeah,
tell who else is doing the challenge. What I liked was the explanation about what 2D means. Can you
yeah.
tell folks
That's
about that?
yeah. That's again. It's how do you look at your life? Okay, if you look at your life as a structure, okay, and you build your life. Okay, that's not an uncommon term, building your life. Okay, well, and I used it in another context over at Five Hammer, but I came up with the analogy of the 20 penny nail. The 20 penny nail, that's big nail. Okay,
Okay.
and you use that in the foundation, you use it in the joist, you use it in the stuff that holds up the structure. Okay, and you've got the 20 penny nails are your nutrition, your diet, your exercise, your spirituality, okay, your mindfulness, the sleep, all of those elements of wellness are a 20 penny nail that you got to use that 20 penny nail in your foundations. Okay,
Okay.
so that's how you build a house. That's how you build your life structure. Okay, and you don't want cheap 10 penny or 5 penny nails in there, when especially you're building a structure that is going to house your family, your kids. Okay, you
Uh-huh.
know you got to build it strong, you got to build it tough. Okay, so you got to make those elements 20 penny nails. But along with that, once you build the structure, okay, you got stuff to hang up on the walls, you got stuff that serves uh, no functional value other than you like it. Okay, so you use a little 2 penny nail and you hang it
Okay.
up on the wall so you can look
Okay.
at
Like
it,
a
you can
picture
like it, you can
frame,
show it
stuff
off.
like
Yeah,
that.
picture frame, whatever. Okay, and that's the 2 penny nail. It's something that you can do within your life structure, that you can hang it up there and say, "Yep, I did this." Does it make a big difference? No, but it makes me feel good when I look at it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But all those little things add
And
up to
speaking of
make
which, we got
yeah.
we got to finish today's.
Oh God, I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, yeah. You ready? You ready
Oh,
to do
oh
one of
God,
them?
okay. Like
We can
now?
do it right on the desk. Do it right on there. Get
Tell
up out of
people
your
what
chair. Come
today's
on.
was. Tell
Huh?
people what today's was. Explain
Okay.
it.
I have to. I don't want to get the name wrong, so let me go. Let me go. Let me
I
go roll
can
this
find
up
it.
here. Okay, this is the Evil is Dead.
Evil is dead.
These are the 3-6. These are the 3-6s. Push-ups. Okay,
Yeah.
desktop push-ups. All you gotta do, yeah. Get your hands, get your legs stretched out.
All right.
Out behind you. Get on the desktop. Okay, you're in a plank. You're in a modified plank position. Now
All
you
right.
just count to 6 while you go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count 6 while you hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 to rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hoo-yah! You did it.
Oh yeah.
That's number 6. Okay? So evil is dead on the 6s.
Evil is dead on the 6th, so I can go post that on my wall. People must think we're nuts because you read
That's
this.
the
Evil
point.
is dead on. I know. I know. It's like a secret joke, and if you want to know what it means, come join us in the 2D Nail Challenge.
That's it, and it's an element of play. Okay?
It is.
It gives you the same benefit as play.
We might as well have fun. I've laughed more
That's right.
in those threads this month than ever, so
Yeah.
that's been great. And you did the water challenge with us too. It wasn't
Oh yeah.
super hard, but that made a huge difference.
Yeah.
I know. I've got mine here too. Now I got to
That's
focus on drinking out of better containers because this is poison, this plastic bottle I'm drinking out of.
This container is my reminder container.
Oh.
On my first kidney surgery, when they were taking out kidney stones, okay, they handed me this cup on my way out of the hospital. Said, stay hydrated. Okay.
Ah.
This is my reminder. It's a 1 liter.
Does it have a measuring thing?
Huh?
Does it have a measuring tick marks on it?
It's a hospital cup. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a 1 liter cup. It's a 1,000 milliliters. Okay. And that's how I measure my water at home.
Well, that's good. That's good for you. Well, Hammer, we got to wrap it up, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
Well,
everything you've done.
I got to tell you this, Carol. I mean, it's 2 things about you that are really cool. I got to thinking about this is I had some really good teachers. Okay, a little point. I got my whole first year of college by going in and on a whim taking the CLEP test, CLEP General Subject Exam, 7 years after I graduated from high school.
Wow. And
in the Army, the Ed Center, they just had a sign out that said CLEP test today. And I went and asked them about it, and they told me what they were, and I said, how much does it cost? And they said, that they're free because you're on active duty. I said, okay, I'll take them. Took all 6 of them. And on the natural sciences and biology one, I nearly maxed it.
Wow.
I only missed about 6 points.
You did have good teachers.
Yeah.
That's great.
But I got to thinking about that is my science, I can remember the name of every high school teacher I had. Okay.
That's fantastic.
Everyone had an impact. And what I'm telling you is as a teacher, okay, and they will never know, okay, most of them are probably up with Zena now, but they will never know the impact they had with me, okay. And you can never know how that circle closes, but know that the circle is out there. Know that you make a difference, okay. You make a difference for people doing what you do.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
It's
and running this makes a difference.
Well,
what you do on the podcast, I'm just telling you, it makes a difference for people.
Thank you.
God bless you for it.
Thank you so much for saying that, John, because I get so much out of it. It's making a difference for me. And so I try to remember to always thank everybody in that community and everybody listening, because it keeps me motivated to keep trying, even if something's not working right now. And along the way, people are telling me that it's helpful to them to hear that, to hear when I'm having success and when I'm not. And all the other people now, it is more of a story about all of us now.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate folks, because I know it's making a difference for me. So thank you for saying that, and I appreciate you saying that about my work. I work more with teachers now. I really miss working with the students because of what you're saying, because the reason you get into it is to make a difference for kids. But I keep trying to remind myself, if I help teachers make difference for kids, then it's helpful.
Military, we would call a force multiplier. Okay.
Oh.
You're a force multiplier. Take that one to your office. Okay.
I am. I'm going to tell everybody.
I'm a force multiplier.
I'm going to tell them too, because I work with other people who do the same thing. We are all force multipliers. Well, thank you, John. I can't thank you enough. And I know you've made every day on the check-in challenge, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
and you were asking me about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I understand that comes from habit that started when I was 17 in basic training. Okay.
Yeah, that's not going to stop.
I wake up. If I go to bed even at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to wake up at 4:30.
Wow. Well, that's lucky for us, because we get to hear a post from you every time we log in there. You're one of the first ones. So I guess I'll chat with you tomorrow on the chat board, but
I'll be floating around there. We're going to be jamming it tomorrow. We got I got to leave early. We've got family. We're doing on the Alzheimer's ward. We have Christmas family time, where we're going to be the families that come to visit their veteran. We're going to be making a Christmas craft ornament that they can take home with them, and then I've got to go halfway through that. I've got to go down and get the weekly karaoke cafe set up, and we're putting on a Christmas show for those guys. And then after that, tomorrow night on the Alzheimer's ward, we've got the ice cream social.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
Busy. Fridays are jammers. They're hammer jammer kind of days.
I bet they are, and you're the perfect person to help these guys. I mean, it's just great, because we appreciate all their service too. You're doing all this stuff for the vets, so I love that you're helping them have a nice Christmas and all year long.
Oh yeah, and I work in the company of heroes. I get choked up when I start talking about some of these guys, but I mean I literally got guys that just have done amazing things in their time. So.
Well, you tell them we appreciate them. Thank you, John. Thanks for doing this show, Hammer.
All righty.
All right. We'll be talking
to you. Away. Keep on jamming.
Okay.
Keep jamming all day long.
I'll keep it jamming. We will be jamming. Oh, I want to tell everybody, make sure that you check the show notes today. Today's show notes are at fat2fithhq.com/112. And you can find links to some of John's work that he published when he came back from the service, and also how to connect with us in our Myfitnesspal community, how to friend us in there, and but you don't have to friend us. You can just join the community and take a look at what's on the walls there, or just start tracking your food or tracking your macros, or just check in with us. That's all. So it's been helpful to us, so hopefully it's helpful to other people too. And you can also like us on Facebook. That's very helpful, or to leave us a review in Stitcher or in iTunes would be very helpful. It helps the show so much. Okay, John, so we're going to say goodbye now. Do you have any kind of sign-off from your air traffic control days or anything?
Well, other than... anytime, all the time, and every time. It's all part of the service here at Fat2Fit headquarters. Okay?
That's perfect. All right. We'll talk again soon. Thanks again.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.